Hi guys, welcome to another video. In this channel, we all about nourishing your growth. We focus on personal development and self-discovery. In today's topic, we're talking about allowing the environment around you to influence your behavior. Whether it's at a workplace, friends, or family, one way or the other, we have allowed the environment to affect us. And most of the time is in a negative way. So here I was working at a contact center. So in a contact center, it's just one big room and we're all in the same room, divided by different teams. You're in your own cubicle with your own desktop, or it's just one big table divided by table dividers with your own desktop. I was in this team where it was just a bunch of girls and one boy, you know. And at first, we were very excited to be in the team. It was a new team leader. Most of us haven't been in teams with each other, so it was the first time getting to work with each other. So we were quite excited at the beginning. And as we all know, that in a team, we do tend to step on each other's toes. There tends to be a miscommunication. Those little queries that tend to happen every now and again. So here I was in this team, and I realized that whenever you confronted a person about how they made you feel, a person would be offended, or next time when you want to talk with this person, their behavior has totally changed. I started allowing that environment to now to affect me. Like, if you're going to give me attitude, I'm going to give you attitude back. If you're going to gossip about me, I'm going to gossip about you back. If you're not going to greet me today, oh hell no. If you're not going to greet me today, I'm definitely going to come tomorrow with the bigger attitude than yours. I started adopting that mental attitude of, look, if you're going to be mean, I'm going to be 10 times meaner than you. Not realizing that myself was slowly slipping away from me. Well, I started becoming negative and insecure. I didn't know who I was. And because I didn't know who I was, I started allowing the environment around me to determine my behavior. So how I spoke to people, how I communicated, it all depended on how the person approached me. If they approached me with attitude, that means that Lina, I'm coming with an attitude to them. It totally wrecked me to a point where I didn't recognize myself anymore. I didn't know who I was. Not only was I giving people attitude in the team, I was actually doing it around me, and it was affecting my performance in my work. It took changing from that team, being in a different team, to realize that how I was not at peace. Every day before going to work, I knew that I had to put on a face. I already knew that I had an attitude that had to be ready for whatever that came my way. And when you do that, you're allowing the negativity to penetrate inside of you, right? And it starts affecting every other area of your life without even realizing it. So it took me going to a different team to actually realize how unhappy I was in the team and how I allowed the environment to affect me. I moved to a new team. So when I was in that new team, I knew that I no longer wanted to be in the job. Like, I knew that my energy had been drained to the core. So when I went to a new team, it was a whole new team that I've never worked with. It was a new people who had recently joined the company. I didn't know them, they didn't know me. I got to spend a lot of time by myself and think and see things differently. And I realized that, wow, girl, I don't belong in this environment. So I made a conscious decision that I'm going to resign from my job. So this is 2019. So I resigned from my job. So come February 2020, Mpumi does a video talking about the different podcasts she listens to that help with self-development, mental health, bettering yourself. Yeah. So one of the podcasts that stood out was Oprah's podcast, and also Mpumi at the time had a podcast with Y'alls. So those were the two podcasts that I used to listen to religiously. One of the first things that I learned from listening from the podcast is journaling. The importance of journaling your feelings, your thoughts, how you feel, just putting them on paper. It's definitely something that I would always have with me for the rest of my life, because that taught me to actually see my feelings on paper and actually read it back to myself and see how I was feeling, how I was thinking, and it was not the best of thinking. And also, one of the conversations that stood out for me was Oprah's podcast, where she was interviewing Deepak Chopra, where they were talking about you are what you attract. Honey, that hit me differently. Like, it felt like I was hearing those words for the first time, that you are what you attract. And it made me look at the environment that I was in, that, oh, it's not the people that are the problem, it's me that was the problem. So it's not the people, it was me that was allowing the environment to change me. So when I heard that, like that gave me a different perspective on life. It made me stop looking at people. It made me stop pointing fingers at other people and start pointing fingers at myself. This when I started getting into meditations, affirmations. I would wake up, plus I was at home, so I would wake up every morning, make my bed, and then I would close my room, and then I would do affirmations. There's a lady that I would listen to on YouTube, affirmations every single day. I did that religiously. Every single day I would do affirmations. Every single day I would meditate. That's when I got to learn about the different meditations, how the different meditations and how you can let loose of the energy that's inside your body, and the different chakra meditations that you could do. I started doing those things religiously. And at the time when you're doing it, you're thinking you're doing nothing, like you're just doing them for the sake of doing them, but no, but they're actually changing you. I realized that I had changed when I got my second job and I was around people. Like I no longer disrespected other people. I no longer treated people the way they treated me. If somebody came with attitude, I always knew I would withdraw myself from that situation. I would always practice kindness. I knew when somebody came with attitude or a negative behavior, and I would avoid that. I would draw away from those type of situation, and I wouldn't get mad. If the person came to me nice the next day, I would treat them with some kindness. I would treat them with some kindness and respect, help them. And oh, it was such a beautiful, like I realized at that moment that it was such a beautiful place to be in. Not allowing the environment to affect you. Even when people came with negativity, even when somebody like wanted to just throw you off Bona, I would always remember all that hard work that I was doing while I was still at home, meditations, podcasts, listening to positive podcasts. Those things came handy because I was able to recognize myself. I was able to see the changes, the work that I had put in, doing all that work on my mental health was starting to show now that I can actually work with other people and not allow the environment to affect me. I did not allow that in my space, and that taught me a lot about myself. It made me love myself even more. It made me love myself even more. It made me cherish myself even more. I even valued the work that I was doing because it showed it even in my work. I was persistent, I was hardworking, I did my job to the best of my abilities and did not allow the environment to affect me. And I want to say, if you're somebody that's currently allowing the environment to affect them, allowing the situation to change them, I want you to tell you to stop, you know, not just stop, but ask yourself how you can change yourself. Ask yourself, stop and think how you can change yourself and how you can approach how you can approach the environment differently. One of the tips that I would leave you with is to get your mental space in a positive manner. Meditations allows you to release whatever energies that are inside your body that are keeping you from relaxing. And I'm not saying we're gonna be perfect. There will be times where you rubbed off the wrong way, but the importance of this conversation is for us to become better people. It's for us to be the better versions of ourselves, showing up for ourselves. So if you are currently in a workplace where the environment is affecting you, where the environment is just not good for you, you know that you cannot quit your job and you know that you have responsibilities, I say to you, step back from that environment and ask yourself how you can approach the environment in a different way and seek information. There's always information out there. Affirmations is one of the first things, that you can that you can start doing. Meditations are also something that you can do in your own space. And meditations are nice. It's not something that you can just do only in the morning. You can even do it when you come back from work, just to release the energy from a long day. I hope the message that I was trying to put across, you were able to relate and you were able to actually take something from this. Once you get on the other side, once you start showing up for yourself, you show up differently and you won't even see the changes. The people around you will see the changes that you are making in your own private space. And just want you to know that do not rush anything. Let it be at your own pace. Allow yourself, and also allow yourself to feel angry when you feel angry, but do not retaliate. Do not allow yourself to feel the emotions that you are feeling, but remember that you want to be a better version of yourself. So start showing up for yourself. Thank you. Hope to see you in another video. Do not forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.